Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. It has been a while since I posted, but guess what we're doing today? Yep, a book review. Formula 1, The Official History. I got this book probably about 3 months ago for my birthday, and let me tell you, it is an excellent read. Today, I'm going to show you a few of the pictures and give you the lowdown on this book. Let's get into it. To get things kicked off, this book, even if you don't read it, it looks beautiful as a piece on display. Around my Lego Technic Land Rover, it really sets the place alive. And having this book will show that you're a true F1 fan. It's subtle, yet it has a big impact. Now, let's take a look inside and have a look at some of the pictures that are equally as beautiful. So, as you guys know, you've seen the front cover a little bit already. I apologise for the Lego train track in the background. This is my Lego table. So, let's get into it. So, of course, a red first page. So, here we have the contents page, very nicely made, and I really like how it has really interesting captions for the various chapters and everything. It goes right from the beginning of Formula 1 all the way up to about 2021. Then it also has the records, index, and credits as well. This, I think, is a real kicker for the first page of this book. Charles Leclerc's winning crowd at Monza 2019. This is definitely a sight to see. So we have this foreword by Ross Brawn. Goes for a few pages, very interesting, talks about himself. Now we start in the chapters. Now these have lots of interesting pictures, and yes, they do get colour as the centuries progress, and they have little captions for all of the pages with pictures on them, which is really nice. And this book has taught me a lot of things I never knew. This page particularly tells you that Switzerland actually banned Formula 1 from racing there because of this Fangio crash. So we've got a few nice pictures and everything, and you just hear about all the things that you'd never normally expect. So I will skip ahead to the next chapter. Just nice thing. Chapter 60, Lotus Blossoms. So this is the second chapter, and this is where the book really starts to feel more Formula 1-like. So again, we have, the little side quotes on the side here. Then it's pretty much, the book is the exact same, but this is where they start to show some more of the crashes. This is a really interesting chapter. I really liked this one. It's probably one of my favourites throughout the book. They also, throughout the book, have quotes around the place as well, just like here, which I really like because it means you don't really have to dig through the book to find them. So this is a Graham Hill quote. And towards the end of the chapters, this is another really good thing for me, is see how there's not really much writing, there's just the little dictations for the pictures. I really love this because it's a whole photo gallery towards this end part, which is really great, and this is what it's like in all the chapters. Let's skip to the 70s. Time for chapter 70, On a Wing and a Prayer. This covers Jackie Stewart a lot, and Emerson Fittipaldi and Niki Lauda, which is really interesting to hear about the famous names in Formula 1. Here is a picture of Bruce McLaren with his first ever sports car. And then this is where we start to see more colour pictures, which is really interesting. So there's not much more to show here. It does show, obviously, through the 70s. This is when the Lotus John Player special livery came into play. I'll skip now on to the 80s. So, 80s, The Man in the White Suit. This was all about Alain Prost, and I really enjoyed this chapter as well, like all of them. This was interesting because it showed some of the more obviously modern cards. And another thing I really enjoyed about this book is that it really shows the evolution of the cards. Like, it's not hard to skip through and see how they evolve, which was a big thing for me. And the 80s chapter, it really talks a lot about the FIA, which is a really interesting story. Prost World Champion of 1989. And the Long Beach Grand Prix. And just a few other pictures as well. I'll skip to the next chapter. The 90s, changing of the guard. So, of course, this 90s is all about Ayrton Senna. Obviously, he was a massive name in motorsport until he unfortunately passed away in 1994. This was the most engaging chapter of the book for me because I have read up a bit more on the newer times of F1, but this was really interesting for me to hear about all of these cars. And obviously the really successful Williams, McLaren. There's a good Senna picture. This is another thing I really love. It's got so many beautiful pictures and they're all printed in really high quality. And of course then we start to see Michael Schumacher coming in a bit more and slightly newer cars starting to evolve. Let's skip to the next chapter. Oh, just before we do, this is an Ayrton Senna livery. Let's go. The 2000s in excess, of course. Again, this is all about Michael Schumacher. So it's got, this is the Jaguar Racing. I actually never knew they were a team in F1 until I read this book. Again, lots more Schumacher stories and it's all very interesting. A few others. So I think I will now skip to the 10s. 2010s, the cost of winning. Of course, this is when Lewis Hamilton became a big name in the sport. So, if you are a Hamilton, a Vettel, and a Alonso fan, this is the chapter for you. Oh, and Rosberg, you mustn't mention, and of course, this is when Red Bull started to get a little more strong. Vettel there. And of course, the devastating crash that happened in Suzuka. And then we start to see Max Verstappen and Daniel Ricciardo merging out as well. Toro Rosso, and now the cars are starting to get the halo. Of course, Ferrari, Mercedes. And again, lovely massive pictures. And all of these pictures would be awesome to just display if you're putting on like your coffee table or something. This is the perfect coffee table book. We shall now skip to the 2020s. 2020s, a crisis in innovation. Obviously, crisis being for the COVID pandemic, and innovation being the brand new regulations that were brought out. And of course, this is Max Verstappen looking, in my opinion, very Max Verstappen-ish. So, of course, a race I'm sure many of you are unhappy about when Lewis Hamilton just missed out on an 8th World Championship. This book was actually written by Lewis Hamilton's father. So again, more of the more recent stuff, which I really liked seeing because it was interesting to read over. And that pretty much brings us to the end of the book and this book review. And obviously, you know, this picture speaks for itself. And then you have all of the records, Drivers' World Championships, and then you've got the index, bunch of fun stuff there, and then the credits. And that brings us to the end of this book and our book review. Now for my verdict. Would I have bought this book? Well, Probably not, because I'm not a super history person, and I'll probably rather buy a different F1 book. But having got it as a birthday present, then I would definitely recommend it to people, even if you're paying full price for it, because it is so beautiful, all of the pictures that go with it. You know, lots of them you can't find on the internet, and it's really interesting, especially those earlier years where you can't really find much information on the internet, because all of this information has come out of Formula One's official data, because it is a Formula One official licensed product, and it was written by Lewis Hamilton's father. And I think that also adds an extra layer of, what would you call it? Well, just a, sport to it, because it's written by one of the most successful F1 fathers of all time, so he probably knows his stuff very well. And even if you don't read this book, it's worth getting just to put on your coffee table. Open it up to one of the beautiful full-page pictures. It will show that you're an F1 fan, and this is the perfect gift to give to anyone who likes F1. So, I would give it a 8 out of 10 stars. I don't know what you could quite improve, but a solid 8, if not a 10 out of 10. That's me signing off.